So now we will see padding property in CSS. So guys, basically padding is used to create space around an element's content inside of any defined borders. So guys, if you want to provide certain space inside the web element and within the borders of that particular web element, then we can use the padding property in CSS. So there are properties for setting the padding for each side of an element, that is in the sequence top, right, bottom and left. And guys, we will check this with the help of examples as well. So let us move to the VS Code over here. And previously we had written certain lines of code in order to understand the margin property in CSS. So guys, we have the first div over here, that is this is div1 with ID, that is div1 in this case, and we have another div, that is this is div2 with ID div2 over here. And inside the style.css property we had defined certain properties, and we are going to remove these properties so that we understand padding property in CSS. Now guys, let me just save both these files now and try reloading this page on the browser. So as you can see, we have this is div1 and this is div2 without any CSS property. Now guys, what we can do is inside the style.css we can provide certain background colors over here to both the div elements. So first of all, we are going to define the CSS property for the ID, that is div1 over here, which will be reflected to this div element, that is the first div. So in this case we will simply provide the background color as the property, and let's say we provide the background color as yellow in this case. And guys, the second ID, that is div2, we are going to define another background color over here. So we say background color property, and let's say we provide the value as aqua in this case. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So as you can see, we have the background color to both the properties, which is being extended to the width of the screen. Guys, if you notice, we have certain white spaces on the left, top and the right of the div elements. So we can get rid of it by using the margin and padding as 0 pixels by defining those CSS properties for the body tag over here. So guys, let us do that as well so that we understand the padding property more easily. So over here we provide the body tag and we simply provide margin as 0 pixels in this case. So we say 0 pixels and padding as well as 0 pixels over here. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So as you can see, we don't have any spaces around both these div elements. Now guys, what is the meaning of padding? So over here, first of all, we will define the border for this first div in this case. So let's say we provide the border to first div element by using the border property. We will provide 2 pixels border followed by the border style, that is solid, and the color of the border as black color. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So as you can see, this is the border of the first div element. Now guys, when we provide padding for a particular web element, the space is provided in between the border and the content of the element. So let us check that as well. We are going to provide the padding to the left hand side of this first div over here. So simply we are going to come to this div1 ID and we will say padding followed by hyphen and then we have left in this case, and let's say we provide 20 pixels as the padding to the left hand side of the div1. So when we save this file now and try reloading this page, as you can see, this is the space that we have provided in between the border and the content of this div, and this can be achieved by using the padding left property over here. And when we say padding top property, the padding will be provided from the top side of the web element. So let us check that as well. So when we say padding top in this case, and let's say we provide 30 pixels over here as the padding top. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So as you can see, 30 pixels padding top is being provided over here. Similarly, we can provide padding bottom as well and padding right as well in this case. So guys, in this way, based on your requirements, you can provide the padding property to the required HTML element. So let us check the padding bottom as well. So over here we simply provide padding bottom property, and let's say we provide 50 pixels as padding bottom. So when we save this file now and try reloading this page, as you can see, this is the padding that is being provided at the bottom of the site. Now guys, apart from this, we have something called as padding shorthand property. So in short, we can also provide all these padding values with the help of just one property, that is padding over here. So I'll simply comment out these lines of code in this case, and simply we are going to say padding over here, and let's say we want padding to be 50 pixels from all the sides. So simply we are going to provide 50 pixels as the value from all the sides over here. So when we save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser, so this is the 50 pixels padding from all the sides. So if you want to verify this, simply we can right click and click on this inspect option of the browser, and on the right hand side you can see the CSS properties for a particular web element over here. So this is the padding that is being applied over here, that is 50 pixels from all the four sides, that is being highlighted in light green color. Now guys, apart from that, let's say if you want to provide the padding top and padding bottom to be 20 pixels and padding left and padding right to be 50 pixels over here. So what we can do is, the first value is taken as the padding top value. So over here simply we will provide 20 pixels over here. The second value will be taken as padding right in this case. So let's say we provide 50 pixels over here as padding right, and the third element will be taken as padding bottom over here. So simply we are going to say 20 pixels once again and followed by the padding left. So over here we will provide 50 pixels once again. So the sequence is padding top followed by padding right and then padding bottom and then padding left. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again over here. So as you can see, this is the padding top and padding bottom, which is 20 pixels. We can verify that using the inspect option over here. So when we click on this and come down over here, as you can see, padding top is being defined as 20 pixels and padding right and left is being defined as 50 pixels over here. So guys, this is the way that you can define the padding for individual sides of a web element over here. Also, when the padding top and bottom are same and left and right are same, what you can do is, this additional 20 and 50 pixels are not required. So over here when we provide two values, so padding top and padding bottom will be provided as 20 pixels and padding right and left will be provided as 50 pixels over here. I'll just change this value to 10 pixels so that we can see the change on the web browser, and this one as 30 pixels over here. So the padding will be 10 from top and bottom and 30 at the left and right. So let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So as you can see, the padding has been updated and we can verify this on the right hand side, that is the box model over here. So at the top and bottom it is 10 pixels, on the left and right it is 30 pixels. So guys, this is the way that you can use the padding shorthand property as well. Now guys, it is very important to note that we have something called as box sizing property while we use padding. Now it becomes very important when we provide the width of the element and the padding of the element as well. So I'll just remove these lines of code over here that we have already defined. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser, and let me just provide the border to the second div element as well. So I'll simply copy this line of code and paste it inside the div2 id over here. So as you can see, we have provided the border to both the properties in this case. Now guys, let us provide certain space in between both these web elements. So over here simply we are going to provide certain line breaks. So couple of line breaks we can provide so that some blank space is being created in between both these div elements over here. Now guys, what we will do is we will provide the width and padding to the first div element. So in this case what we can do is, let's say we provide the width as 500 pixels. So over here we simply provide 500 pixels as width, and let's say we provide the padding as 50 pixels over here. So simply we are going to provide 50 pixels in this case. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So as you can see, we have provided the width as 500 pixels and padding as 50 pixels from all the sides over here. But guys, if you see, the entire width of the div now is more than 500 pixels. That's because we have added additional padding over here on the left and right hand side. So when we right click and click on the inspect option over here and check the CSS in this case, you can see that the 500 width is being highlighted as the green color over here, but the width is more than 500 pixels. That's because we have provided this additional padding over here of 50 pixels on the left and the right as well, and we also have 2 pixels border as well. So the entire width will be 500 plus 50 into 2 plus 2 into 2, which is equal to 604. So basically the entire width of this particular div element has now become 604 pixels, which was not the case when we had provided the width as 500 pixels. So guys, this is the problem when we provide padding and border to a particular web element. So basically the padding and the border, which is having their own size, will be added to the HTML element, and the entire width of the HTML element will be increased and displayed to the user. So guys, basically in order to strictly keep the width as 500 pixels, what we can do is we can define the box sizing property over here. So let us check that with the second div over here. So I'll simply copy these lines of code, that is width and padding, for which we are going to keep the same values over here. Let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. So as you can see, both the elements are having the same width now. They are also having the padding and the borders as same. The only difference is the background color over here. But since we have seen the actual width of this entire div is more than 500 pixels. So in order to strictly keep the width as 500 pixels, simply we can say box sizing in this case, and the value that we are going to set is border box over here. So when we set this border, let me just save this file now and try reloading this page once again on the browser. Now if you see, the actual width of the entire div will be 500 pixels over here. Let me just right click and click on the inspect option in this case. So as you can see on the right hand side, we have the actual width of the content as 396 pixels, and then we have 50 pixels left padding and the right padding as well, which is equal to 100. So it becomes 496 plus 2 pixels border on the left and the right hand side of the div element, which makes it as 500 pixels as the total width. So guys, this is the way that you can set the width strictly to this particular value when we are using the padding and the borders for a particular HTML element by using the box sizing property, and the value should be border box. If you notice, both these div elements are having the same CSS properties. The only difference is box sizing, which is helping us in order to set the actual width of the HTML element. Now guys, apart from this, we had already discussed that margin can have negative values, but can padding have negative values? No, we cannot have negative values for padding, and it is not allowed. So you have to make note of this while you are implementing margin and padding as per your requirements. And to understand the difference between the padding and margin over here, you can see that the padding is the space that we have provided inside the div element and inside the border of this div element. Let's say we provide the margin to the same div element over here and see what is the difference. So when we provide margin left over here, so in this case we say margin left, and let's say we provide 50 pixels as margin left in this case. When we save this file now and try reloading this page, so as you can see, this is the margin property, which means the space that is outside of the border of the web element. So when you want to provide the space outside of the border of the web element, you can use margin, and when you want to provide certain space inside of the border of the web element, then you can provide the padding property in CSS based on your requirements. Guys, comment in the comment section below whether you have learned something out of this video. Please make sure that you like this video so that it reaches to more people, and subscribe to this channel so that you get the notifications on upcoming videos as well. The next video that we are going to talk about is height, width and max width properties in CSS. So stay tuned.